review.
Call to order the October 3rd, 2013 City of Hammond Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call. Here. Here. Item 4, we have approval of the minutes of the meeting of September 19th.
Our president has reviewed the minutes, and he says that they're fine, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item B, we have a bid recommendation from Nice Engineering for the Monon Bike Trail.
What about A?
I'm sorry, A, we have a request for advertising dates of October 31st and November 7th for several houses to be demolished.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve those advertising dates and add bid opening date. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now, item B, we have a bid recommendation from Nice Engineering for the Monon Bike Trail and Bridge project, recommending that go with the low bidder, who is Superior Construction.
I'd like to make a motion that we agree with their recommendation and that we make the award to Superior, who was the low bidder.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item C, we have a hearing of 714 Sibley, and interested parties please come forward.
Good morning. James Driscoll for the property owner, Tom Ogrodowski. We have an agreement in principle. This is a 3-unit. We're going to be removing the 3rd unit, so it'll be a 2-unit. We'll put an agreement in writing, get it signed. I'd ask for a date, maybe 2 weeks from today, at which time we expect to submit a signed agreement.
Is there a motion to continue this for a status in 2 weeks?
October 17th?
Fine.
My motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. See you on the 17th. Thanks, Jamie. Do you have any other properties?
Both the next D and E are both mine.
Okay. Item D, 12 Lawndale.
And these two will both be similar situations. Lawndale is a 2-unit that we've got a couple options, either to remove a unit or make some modifications to have it remain a or remove one to go to a single-family home. I'd ask for a date in 2 weeks, at which time I expect we'll be submitting a signed agreement.
17th, October, motion for October 17th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And on 169th Street, it's a 4-unit. We will be removing 2 units. And again, we'll submit a signed agreement in 2 weeks is my expectation.
Okay. You want to make that motion, Jeff? Okay. Item E,
E also?
912
I do.
Summer.
Yeah, do you want to take that, Matt?
Yeah, we're just asking for the removal of the second floor apartment. They've agreed to cooperate, so we're just like to get that affirmed.
No objection.
Is there a motion to enter the findings in order for the removal of the second floor apartment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Item F, 1212 150th Street.
We are asking for the removal of one apartment. He currently has 4, only has a permit for 3. No permits to convert.
Nobody's here. To approve them or deny them?
You just want you want apartment removed, you said? Yes. Make a motion that we approve their findings.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item G, 832 Truman Street.
This one's already been affirmed back in June. We can dismiss it, so they are cooperating.
Is there a motion to dismiss action at 832 Truman Street?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item H, 4920 Ash. We have an agreement between both parties to continue this to January 9th of 2014. Is there a motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item I, 4832 Cedar. Any interested parties at 4832 Cedar?
Sorry. 4832
Yeah.
The single-family home converted into 2 units. Mr. Holmberger is trying to make, trying to see what he can do to make it a 2-unit, something that,
No, he's gonna
Convert it back?
convert it back to a single unit.
family. That's fine. That's where they get from
He just trying to get with the building department, get everything torn out. He's got some of the stuff taken out. He's a contractor. He's got some of the things taken out. He's gonna tear out the stairways and the other accesses to it and make it into a single.
That's fine. If we can just affirm it, then we can continue through, or not necessarily continue through the Board of Works, but with Kurt as far as guidance on what needs to be done, how it needs to be done.
Sure. How long does your client think he's going to need to make the conversion?
How long do you think you're gonna need?
Well, I know you don't need a story. Everybody is so busy because we're trying to,
It's just
you
a
know,
matter
close
of
off the
hooking up with the
season.
building department.
It's out of operation now, which is 90% now. That's important. And then they have to inspect to make sure that we've dismantled the kitchen. So unfortunately.
That was 3 months.
3 months.
Well,
So-
that's more than,
Are we going to affirm this? Because if we affirm it, then we can just handle it through the permit process through Kurt and the inspections, what needs to be done there.
What are we affirming then?
Affirming that's going to go back to a single-family home.
yes.
That way we can close the file. We're trying to get some of this cleaned up because we had a lot of files that are continued. Here we have a case that the gentleman agrees it's going back to a single-family home, just a matter of construction. When a permit's full, they do those inspections. But I'd rather not continue it here in the Board of Works and continue that backlog.
Make a motion that we affirm the findings in order.
All in favor? Aye.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
And then ASAP.
Sure.
Item J, 51 Indiana.
My name is Jesus Villacana, representing 51 Indiana Street.
Move the mic up.
Sorry.
This is on inspection was a 4-unit basement apartment. And one apartment on the main floor, and then the second floor was split down the middle into 2 units. We're asking that we affirm the 2 units, remove of the second, so it's a 3rd unit. Second unit on the second floor.
You're wanting the basement removed, Kelly?
Basement, yeah,
The 3rd floor can remain the same, but the 2nd floor, you just want it to be single?
You have the basement, which is the form. The first floor is unlimited, and then the second floor is split.
Oh, the 2nd floor split into 2?
And the permit will remove the basement already, and the permit for the drywall on the first floor, trying to create fire separation between the first and second floor.
Again, the building has been operating. We've gone through this as a 4-unit, and the split down the middle he's speaking of is actually updated because there were walls and we had to put new firewalls. They were plaster, and they said those are not acceptable. So that's the reason why they're fresh walls. We didn't install them. All we did was update it to bring it up to code when we thought we were moving forward with this. The basement can meet code, but I already agreed with them that it's fine. And I thought I was here to confirm that it was going to be a 3-unit. I was under the impression that I was going to agree that it was going to be a 3-unit.
We had asked to have another hearing because they were present. Board's decision was they were properly noticed that at the time that it was ruled already affirmed, go back to a 2-unit. So basically, we're here to have another hearing on this case. There's no permission to convert to the second floor. It doesn't meet code for fire separation, egress issues. I know they tried to correct some of that. At the same time, at that point, it was already affirmed to be a 2-unit.
From my recollection, you guys requested drawings. He was supposed to submit drawings.
I did.
They submitted a drawing, but it wasn't adequate in detail to say how they're going to make it a safe breeding at this point. Again, you go from residential, multi-unit, two-family, to a commercial building.
I recall that. And the last hearing, I think we directed the building department to expound upon what they meant by your drawings aren't adequate. Instead of just saying they're not adequate, building department was supposed to supply a punch list of exactly what they needed to your engineer, who is then going to respond to you guys with a new set of drawings addressing your issues.
I don't recall that quite the detail as you're saying. I don't think you're ever going to get a punch list that says exactly what you have to do, because you're not going to know what you're going to cover when you open the wall. So it's kind of hard to tell what needs to be done on something that has been removed. If Mr. Cook is going to get drawings, he's the one that's going to do the plan review and see that it's going to be safe for a commercial building.
Do you know if the building department ever submitted to Mr. Villicana a more detailed explanation of how or why the drawings weren't adequate?
My understanding, Mr. Cook had a conversation with his wife, some detail, okay, that the drawings weren't adequate.
That was the last time. Have you
That was-
submitted new drawings since then?
No, what ended up happening is we went downstairs. I said, what do we do next? Basically, Mr. Cook went and looked at the place again, and he's all like, well, there's new walls, but he didn't realize that we had already updated the old plaster walls. We didn't install new walls. The only issue from the inspection about the second floor wasn't that it was a 2-unit. It was the fact that the doors were angled in. That problem was corrected. And then out of nowhere, just everything went backwards. So when Mr. Kirk went, he said all he needs to know, he's going to recommend, from my understanding, we're supposed to come here, and we're in agreement. It was just a matter of you guys agreeing. It was going to be a 3-unit. That was my impression. That's why I'm here. That's what I thought.
I'm sorry we had that impression, but no, it's my stance. I thought it was going to be a 2-unit.
Mr. Cook?
Yeah, we're, all due respect, putting the cart before the horse. You can give me a set of drawings on your home on converting it to a 2-unit. I still can't issue you a permit unless you have the proper zoning. What we're here to determine is whether or not it's going to be a 2-unit or a 3-unit. And, you know, I'm neutral in the situation. If it's going to be a 3-unit, then I'll do my best to work with them on the existing set of drawings they have, show them the deficiencies and work towards it having be a safe 3-unit. But I can't issue a permit for it to be a 3-unit unless somebody at a higher pay grade says it's a 3-unit. And that's what you're here to determine first. Is it a 2-unit or is it a 3-unit?
It's zoned 2-unit?
It's currently zoned R1U, which would allow 2 units, yes.
These are the drawings for today. There's really no detail as far as what walls are struck out, it's basically a floor plan. There's really no detail what it's going to be, how it's going to be, what their efforts are going to be to make electrical upgrades and whatever you need.
Again, the architect took the instructions that were given to me from the department and gave them what they asked for. He said, I'm just going to put whatever they say here. And that's why, if it seems there's not enough detail, it's because it was originally not requested.
Yeah, and it could have all the detail in the world.
Responsibility to design the thing for us. You know, typically, if somebody comes into us and they're putting a driveway in or something, we expect them to present us with a drawing. We will make detailed comments on it after we get the drawing, which I think what this is at, you would have to know that that center wall needs to be a firewall. I think there's some other issues here for additional detail. But I don't think it's Kurt's responsibility to come up and say, you need to do this, this, and this. It's the architect's responsibility to present something which is up to code for the number of units that's approved in that area.
Right, it's zoned R1U, it's zoned to allow 2 units. So
If he
until,
wants 3 units, he needs to go before the zoning board and get it rezoned, which I don't think will happen.
Right, but it was already operating as a 3-unit.
yeah.
I'm not requesting it. It already was before the earliest books that they found downstairs was before 1963 or something. It was already operating that way. So this isn't something that I just found a house and said, can we do it?
It's not uncommon for us to come across properties that have been converted, completely converted many moons ago. It's
There's no documentation documentation that actually converted.
That's correct.
So the thing was illegally converted, so that passes on to the present owner.
He bought a property that was illegally converted, that's correct. As unfortunate as it is.
So I think the board's decision should be, hey, you wanna go back to your architect and submit a drawing for a 2-unit building, and then Kirk would review it, mark it up, and send it back, and then you get a finalized set of plans, and you could make it into a 2-unit.
And whatever the board decides,
Again, I just feel like we keep stepping backwards every time I come here. I
they've
feel
kind
we
of
take a
tried
step
to
back.
cooperate as much as they can, and Kelly has tried to cooperate as much as they can. I will bend over backwards to help either one of them settle the issue, but until you decide, is it a 2-unit or a 3-unit?
But I don't think we can make that decision because zoning's already said it can only be a 2.
Right, and that's why we're here today.
And I agree, but like Stan said, he could go to zoning and he
Right.
doesn't think it's gonna happen.
We want, and we think
Try
that,
that if you wanna make it a 3-unit, but other than that, we can't approve a 3-unit there at the present time, because you can't show any documentation that it actually was legally converted and was approved at some earlier date.
Well, all
There
the,
should be building permits, there should be.
there is permits, over time of things being done, but as far as it saying that it was a 2-unit turning to 3, for all I know, it was a 3-unit. I mean, there's plaster walls. How long has it been since plaster was around?
By real
The
estate
old wires
buyer,
had cloth on them. It's been like that for a long time.
Yeah, these are just maintenance items. It's much older.
it was before 1923, we had that permit.
When?
1923.
1923? The number of units used for this building permit.
Built in 1917.
1917.
It may have been built as a 2-story frame. It could have been a single-family home, 2-story, could have been 2-unit. I think what we're doing is saying, we give the benefit of the doubt, saying 1917 was built as a 2-unit. Nothing that indicates that it was a 3-unit or 4-unit.
I guess for me, the biggest confusion comes in when the inspectors actually went in there. The things that they addressed were, they went with Kelly, Matt, Mr. Callahan, the inspector for the fire department side of it, and everybody was there for some unusual reason. And with all them there, they were all looking at this place, and they said, these are the things that are wrong with this place. And I took it to a contractor, submitted it, we started moving forward, then there was a little bit of a ripple. So then I did what they asked me, which was to go to an engineer, which was fine. I paid for it, everything was done. Then we heard nothing for a while. We were almost done with the job, and they said, oh no, stop, you're not supposed to do this. And again, we came, the only solution they had was to set up another meeting. We went, and I was under the impression again that they agree that 3 units fine. We agree it's up to you now. And then I'm here, and now it's another, let's go 10 steps back. Let's go before and request the apartment that's been there for longer than I've been alive.
Despite what happened in the previous hearing from the board, and if you want to go through that, it was affirmed to be a 2-unit. We wanted another hearing, and that's why we're here now.
Yeah,
We're presenting-
that's not true. We vacated that.
Well, yeah, in a sense.
Right.
At the time, it was affirmed, okay? So I think everyone agreed that we'd have another hearing, and that's what we're doing now, presenting the evidence, just as we did the first time around, with making sure that they have proper notice, so they're here for whenever we have a hearing. But this is basically the same information we provided the first time around, that it was never legally converted into a 4-unit, never legally converted into a 3-unit.
Are you willing to convert it into a 2-unit?
The problem with that is that, I mean, this property has been sitting. I mean, I know that to you guys, it's what needs to be done, needs to be done. I respect that. But at the same time, as an investor in the city of Hammond, and I've been investing in over 10 years, I mean, realistically, it's almost like not even fair, because it seemed like nobody knew what they were doing until now that they took them over 2 years to get all the information to say this to me, to say we should make it a 2-unit.
I need to say again, this is the same information we provided at the first hearing. We established that there were proper notice, and that judgment was vacated. I understand that. Now we're presenting a case just as we did originally, where he was here on every hearing except for the 2 before was affirmed. So I understand vacating the judgment. I understand that. That's fine. At this point, we're presenting a case that was never legally converted to a 3-unit or a 4-unit.
And then another thing to consider is, you know, the average home, single-family home there is about 2 to 3 bedrooms, certain amount of square footage. My first floor has 4 bedrooms, and it's very big. And if I would convert the upstairs, it would have like 6 bedrooms. And it would be, I mean, who could afford to, who's going to live in Hammond in a 6-bedroom and pay the rent for that? I mean, another thing, you know, like I said, it wasn't a wall split down the middle that I placed there. It was there, like I said, longer than I've been alive. It was updated because that was on the original request from them for me to update it.
Upstairs, I count 4 bedrooms.
Well, it would be 4, but then I would have to eliminate a kitchen. I have to do something with it. I can't have 2 dining rooms, 2 kitchens. You see what I'm saying? If I would eliminate it, it would turn it into two bedrooms with a kitchen and a dining room, to the 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. It would be 2 of those. I mean, that's bigger than my home.
Well, we're sympathetic to the point that these situations also always involve money and how much and how much you're going to lose, how much you're going to make. For us, it's purely safety. It always comes down to the safety of the situation.
Now, for the safety issue that you're suggesting now, wasn't everybody that knows the standard of safety and the codes present at the time?
Those units are only
And the original, and
Those are only 650 square foot each. Those upstairs units. That's not big. Most apartments today are 1,200, 1,400 square foot, which would be that all combined into 1 unit.
Just to touch on a comment you made earlier, it's not unusual for us to have police department, fire department, electricians, or plumbing inspector with us on an inspection. Nothing out of the ordinary. And yet we established that it was unsafe. That's why we weren't coming and have them. That's why we created this case. If we didn't know what we're doing, we wouldn't be presenting this evidence.
well, like I said, I'm glad he admitted, even though I didn't know the plumbing department was there.
They weren't.
But with that being said, the list they gave me didn't match up, you know, the request. You know, the things, the issues that they addressed to me at that time don't match up to me now taking a 4-unit and turning it into a 2.
I think from the point we're at now, I think if you're unwilling to convert this into a 2-unit, then I think you need to go before zoning and see if you can get it zoned properly.
But going before zoning would make it appear as if I have a 2-unit that I choose to convert into a 3-unit, which is misleading. It would mislead them. I actually had a 4-unit that choose are demanding I reduce to a 2-unit.
But we don't have any proof that it was ever converted to a 4-unit.
Well,
We don't have any proof that it was ever.
downstairs, the earliest books they could find, it was already operating as a 4-unit. And so, and that's your guys' records, not mine. And with that being said, it's before I was alive. So, I mean, it's been operating as a 3-unit for so long, it's almost unjust to say, well, now, you know, all these years later, let's make it into a 2.
Are there multiple exits for those 2 upstairs units?
Yes.
That was part of the problem was the egress led into each other, and then it leads into a back porch or common area there. So just the egress
So
issues
back porch,
alone.
and then there's a staircase down to the back porch?
Yeah, there's a staircase up front, I believe,
Mhm.
and there's a staircase in the back. So you have 2 exits. Problem was the way the exits were situated.
They're just angled wrong. That's the reason why they shut down the second floor.
As long as this has been in existence, and we've certainly had cases here that have been here longer than this, it's basically a directory. How many units, who lives there, address, phone numbers, whatever, phone directory, whatever it may be. None of that says it was legally converted into a 4-unit. It says it was operating as a 4-unit. I don't doubt that for a moment, because it was. But none of that means that it was legally converted into a 4-unit. We don't know it was legally converted, built as a 2-unit, but we're willing to concede that, let them have those 2 units, make sure they're gonna be safe.
It kind of looks like it's a 2-unit.
And again, that's why,
The exterior of the building.
That's why-
Gives you that impression.
that's why I'm
It doesn't
conceding
look
this.
like it's 3 or 4 unit.
No.
It's like a 2-unit.
No.
And looking at the size of those units, you know, 650 square feet is tiny.
It's,
Again, we're asking that it be a safe 2-unit.
I mean, I don't know about square footage as much as you. You're an architect, you know exactly. But, you know, I began my life renting, and I've been doing this for 10 years, and it's a spacious apartment. People saying they're like, oh, this is big. So they stay there for a long time. Tenants that I removed were there for years. And the original reason they entered is still a mystery to me, because from my understanding, you know, there was no reason for it. They did the annual inspection there, and they just all came.
We bring cases in front of you gentlemen all the time, okay? We have a right, a duty to inspect rental properties to make sure that the tenants are gonna be living there safely. This is a situation where it is not safe. It was illegally converted, we don't have no idea what the situation is between the wall that's put up or what was converted as far as electric. It's gonna be a 3-unit, once the zoning gets approved as a 3-unit, commercial code. It's gonna be a 2-unit, residential. Again, I understand, I'm sympathetic to the situation that he bought a 4-unit, and we're telling him it's gotta be a 2. But we want him to convert to the same 2-unit. But it's not unique to this board, certainly. We've had over 130
That's
cases.
not our responsibility, that's the purchaser's responsibility.
That's correct.
He takes all the liability when he buys real estate to make sure that what he's buying is actually what he thinks he's buying.
I agree. I hate to say this was a bad investment. Unfortunately, we came to the inspection, as we are supposed to do, we're obligated to. And these are our findings, that we're doing it for 4 units, or 3 units.
There's really no doubt in my mind from being there 3 times that it was not built as a 2-unit, up and down flat. And in the second floor, a wall right down the middle, north to south, divided one 1,200 square foot unit into 2 600 square foot units. The wall separating the 2 units was probably built post-war, you know, probably actually in the 50s, somewhere around there, just judging from the material and the thickness of the walls that were there, where the outside walls were the old lath and plaster. So it was definitely converted, the second floor unit, from 1 unit to 2 units. And he's right, it was converted some time ago, quite some time ago, but there's never been any permits for that conversion.
I don't think we can sue an unsafe facility that was converted without permits to exist. And now that he knows that it's unsafe, it puts a lot of liability on him that he would continue to try to rent it.
Again, respecting the professionals that were present, this was not even mentioned. It was not even an issue. When they submitted their list of things, the second floor, the only thing was that the doors were angled wrong. And even after the fact, I already asked the two tenants to leave. They said, you probably could have left somebody in one side. But by this time, I was like, you know what? Let's just deal with this. So it was already empty. I'm not going to, like I said, we were moving forward. And then we stopped, and then we started inching backwards.
It's not uncontroversial to let them rent one unit. We don't have to worry about the fire separation to other people, putting other people at risk. What if you had two units, which one's going to be safe from a fire? So if you could occupy anything within the main floor.
What are you asking us to do today?
A permanent removal of one of the apartments on the second floor and the basement. Which is already agreed upon.
I'd like to make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item K, 4618
Can I just ask one quick question? So that just means it's a 2-unit, this issue is resolved? I just have to convert it, second floor into 1 unit, is what we're saying?
It's been the Board of Works decision. If you want to appeal the decision, you have the ability to appeal the.
I already got the hint, they're gonna say no. But that means I'm not gonna get no more letters, this is resolved. It's gonna be a 2-unit, I gotta make it 2 units, top and bottom, that's it, no more stopping me, coming to me, causing me issues.
As of right now, yes.
Okay, thank you.
4618
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Informativo.
Ok, usted lo que quiere saber es los pasos que debe seguir, ¿verdad? Para poder entrar. Mr. Tamayo would like to know what are the steps that he needs to follow to be able to re-rent his property again.
This has got a second floor apartment that is literally 6'4", 6'5". It's a nice apartment at the same time. It doesn't meet minimum code for casino height throughout the whole apartment. So we're asking for it to be removed, walls taken down, plumbing taken out, electrical upgraded to a single family home.
Actually wasn't firm back in
That's what we're asking him to do.
¿Qué dice?
Lo que ellos quieren es que usted convierta esta casa que tiene de 3 unidades para una sola familia. Eso es lo que ellos quieren.
Ok, pero yo tengo un papel donde yo compré 3 unidades. Eso es legal. Yo me las hice. So, yo tengo pictures.
How long has he owned it? How long has he owned it?
7 años.
This is just his loan application. Nice house.
The lowest part of the ceiling is 6'4", or is that one of the lowest spots, or is there other spots? Like, is the ceiling?
Todo el techo está separado por una fijada, como había mencionado.
No está separado. Me falta de altura. Por 1 pulgada, ¿cómo voy a mover todo el techo? Es lo que quiero explicar ahí.
He just feels that just because there's an inch missing, that it's not fair for him to have to remove the entire thing.
Do you only rent to short people?
Right now, no.
No? Okay.
Sí, es que sí lo rento, ¿ah?
Que si solamente lo renta a personas que están
Pues es 1 pulgada, ¿cómo voy a mover el techo y todo si está nuevo? No, porque él dice.
Yeah. Mr. Tamayo, it's not just an inch. The code requires 7-foot ceilings, and yours are 6'4", so you're missing more than just an inch.
No es solamente una pulgada, es mucho más de eso.
Ok. So, dile que nomás quiero que me dé la oportunidad de tenerlo así.
He would like to know if he could have the opportunity to just keep it as it is.
And it's just the second floor apartment?
Correct.
Okay. The reason it's 7 foot, Mr. Tamayo, is if there's a fire, okay? And the fire department has to go in and put one of your tenants over their shoulder and carry them out.
Tiene que tener los 7 pies porque dice que en caso de que haya un incendio o algo, necesitan que haya la altura suficiente para poder sacar a la gente y ayudar.
Okay,
Since your ceilings are only 6'4", they're not going to be able to do that.
Sus veces solamente están 6 pies y 4 pulgadas. Así
okay,
que
yo lo levanto si Dios quiere.
he said he's willing to do it.
Okay.
It's electric and the gas is running. Todo está separado.
To remove it?
Yeah.
Okay. In that
Si
case,
lo va- si lo
is
va
there
a
a motion to
remover.
affirm the removal of the second floor apartment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
No me dan el papel.
¿Los que tienen?
Mr. Tamayo, the city has ordered that you remove the second floor apartment.
Bring back to single family.
Okay, so va a remover el apartamento que tiene en el segundo lugar, okay, en el segundo piso.
Okay.
Okay.
O sea, no quiere que levante el techo en los mueva. 1 second, please.
He wants to know if he's gonna have to redo the roof, or does he have to remove the apartment?
I'm sorry.
He can work with the building department on exactly what he has to do in order to
Typically, we'll
get
give
back
a
into
permit for
compliance.
demolition,
Okay.
but any electrical plumbing is done by a licensed electrician.
Okay, usted,
1
¿quiere
second.
las fotos?
Sí.
Va a tener que hablar con el departamento de building para poder llegar al acuerdo.
¿Dónde es? ¿O cómo?
Building?
¿En él?
He wants to know where the building department's at, so we could just show him.
It's in the basement.
Es
He can work with,
abajo.
he can work with Kelly.
¿Pero qué es lo que quiere que haga? ¿Qué es lo que ellos recomendaron que hiciera?
Quiere que quite el apartamento que tiene arriba.
Item L, 1020 Becker.
Gracias, doctor.
We'll continue that until next week.
Thank you, Gabby.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Make a motion that we proceed to consent.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item M, 4724 Torrance.
Yes, we're asking for the removal of the basement apartment at this property. No permits to convert, no fire separation, ceiling height only 6.5 feet.
Good morning. I'm here on behalf of the Bastillos. They're not fighting that. They just need time to make some changes as required. And they just wanted to make sure that the board knew that they weren't ignoring it, so asked me to stop by.
If we could, again, affirm this, and then we'll do with the contractor and with demolition, whatever needs to be done outside of board works. That way we can start getting some of these off the list.
Make a motion that we affirm the findings of order. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item N, 539 Lewis.
Again, we're asking for the removal of the basement apartment at this property. No permits to convert, no fire separation. Ceiling height 6'7", glass block windows, and it was marked uninhabitable.
Can you state your name and address, please?
Connie Ramirez and Cristobal Ramirez. I want to explain to you so you can understand. We won't rent that apartment, but my son lives there. 3 years ago, he has a child that was born very sick and spent 3 months in the hospital in Indianapolis. So they couldn't afford to get an apartment or a house. So we let him stay there. But I have a 3-bedroom house and they stay upstairs. But we fixed downstairs so they can feel comfortable whenever they had company.
Is this your house? Do you live here?
This is our house.
It's a single-family home? You guys live
Yes,
here?
3-bedroom a house. And we fixed the basement so they can feel comfortable. But they're going to be leaving pretty soon in December.
You understand that there's no exit for them to get out if there's a fire in the basement doorway.
They don't sleep downstairs. They sleep upstairs. Everybody, and there's no cooking downstairs.
There's pictures of beds in the basement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The grown-ups sleep there. The babies sleep upstairs.
Grown-ups are babies. You can't get out of the house, there's no exit.
Okay, but like I said, it's only temporarily because they had no place to
You
go.
knew when the fire was gonna start, that'd be great, but unfortunately, you never know.
And like I said, it's only temporarily till December.
Well, there's a crib, is this picture of the green walls in the basement, crib in the basement? There's a crib in the basement, a picture of a crib in the basement.
Yeah, because they were staying there, the babies were staying there, but not, like I said, we had 3 bedrooms and the kids stay upstairs.
We mark the whole house uninhabitable?
Just the basement.
Stairs too, right?
There's no separate meters for this or anything? This is all? Well, as long as they're not renting it, I don't know if we should get involved in it. It's just family.
Excuse me. Here's the problem. Me as the fire chief, I can't let you, I can't recommend that you let people live in your basement.
There's nobody.
Let me finish. Whether it's you, or your dogs, or friends, because it's just not safe. There's only one way out of there. One way out to get out, and that's to go up the stairs. If there's a fire in the kitchen, when you come up your stairs, where do your stairs come out at?
Is nobody cooking downstairs?
Nobody's cooking downstairs.
Upstairs. Where do the stairs come out of when you come up from the basement?
My kitchen,
Okay. well,
or
let-
there's a door there and there's an outdoor that way.
Here's the problem. We have a lot of kitchen fires, stove fires in Hammond, probably more than anything. Food on the stove, people forget, spilled grease.
I understand.
If there's a fire in the basement, or in the kitchen, upstairs, and the people downstairs can't go up the stairs, they're going to die. So we cannot allow, I can't, in my heart, tell you that I can let you have people living in your basement. It's your house. You don't rent it out, but the ceiling height is not good, and to have people in there is just not safe. So I would recommend that you do not bring the beds upstairs and if they're only staying until December, put the beds in the living room and let them lay on the couch.
Okay.
But you
Okay,
should
that's
not,
exactly what we tend to do.
what's that?
This is exactly what we intended to do.
I know you intend to do it, but you don't know when the fire is going to start.
Okay.
Or your neighbor's house could catch on fire and catch your house on fire. There's all kinds of stuff that could happen. So I would say, don't let people live in a basement, because you don't know, and I know you don't want that on your conscience
No,
if
I
something happens.
No.
So, unfortunately, I can't make you do that, because it's your house and it's a single-family home. I'm just suggesting that you should not let people live in your basement.
Okay.
So what kind of motion do you want to make? Huh? Just confirm the findings in order, let him work it out with the building department?
If I may suggest, Chad, if you affirm it, we will send them a letter also saying that what you're doing, if you continue to do it, is going to be an unsafe situation. Part of my problem is the fact that they are using it as occupied space, but at some time in the future, this house gets sold, we're back to a 2-unit again, and we'll be back visiting it again. I wanted to affirm, so it's a matter of record, that if this house is ever sold, it's to be a single-family home. I don't think any of us want that on our conscience. It's just, especially personally, more personally than anything. I don't know.
Is there a motion?
that, I got a question. How did you guys end up going to this house?
There was a police call referring to, whatever in the basement.
Oh, a domestic thing? Okay. So PD turned you guys onto it?
Is there a motion? Is there a motion on this matter? Seeing as none exists, no action is taken. Thank you. Item O.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
1315 Sherman.
We're asking for the removal of the basement apartment, ceiling height 6'7". The place is actually gutted. They are cooperating slowly, but they are cooperating.
So nobody's living in it? You got any other thing on this?
I'm sorry, Jeff, what?
Is there any other information you have on this address?
Not in front of me, no. What are you looking for?
No. I'll tell you later. Make a motion, we affirm the findings in order.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item P, 1020 Hoffman.
Same deal. Asking for the removal of the basement apartment. They are cooperating. The walls are down. Just need to cap off the plumbing downstairs and it's good.
I'll make a motion that we affirm the order.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item Q, 4849 Elm.
Good morning. My name is Yvonne Rocha, and I'm from 4849 Elm. I am cooperating with the city. I got my permits, my license, contractor permits for.
Yeah, this is a 4-unit building legally converted. She is converting to a single family. She has full permits.
I am converting to single family.
I believe the permits are in the file as well.
You live next door, Ms. Roach?
I live close, yes, like 3 houses away from it.
Yes, that we get the permit for a single family.
Yes, I am converting into single family.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
cooperation. Item R, 647 165th Street.
And we are asking for the removal of the basement apartment and the second floor apartment. The work is done. It's now a single family home. We ask that you affirm it.
I'll make a motion to confirm.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item S, we have correspondence from Attorney Sorge requesting a continuance
October 23rd.
to October 23rd. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye, motion carries. Item T, we have a rental registration hearing at 1020 Becker. Anybody here from 1020 Becker, please come forward. Item T, 1020 Becker. Mr. Perillo. Seeing as no one appears, is there a motion on this matter?
You know what? He had a violation as well today. It was continued to next week. Perhaps he was confused.
Good. Is there a motion to continue the rental registration hearing to next week as well?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Can you notice him of that? Thank you. Item U, 6405 Kennedy. Anybody here from 6405 Kennedy? Ms. Molson? Seeing as no one appears, is there a motion on this matter? Is there a motion on this matter? Seeing as no motion has been made, the appeal is denied and the late fee stands. Item V, 1534 174th Street. Mr. Little?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Little, this is your opportunity to explain to the board why you didn't register your unit on 174th Street.
Sir, I purchased the house back in 2007, and I paid a rental fee, back in 2007, and I thought it was a one-time rental fee. I don't even live in this state, and I didn't receive a notice in the mail until I got a letter from the collection agency regarding this matter. And even when I filed an appeal, I received my letter for this appeal for today at the residence at which I rent out. I don't know why I'm not receiving any mail from you guys as far as rental fee.
We don't have your address.
You don't have it?
Apparently not if we send it 100.
But the collection agency had it.
They probably. Where do you live at?
Waukegan, Illinois.
Do you own any other units in the city?
In this city, no.
But you own other units somewhere else?
No, sir.
Part of why these go to collections, so they can do the research that needs to be done to find the gentleman and let him understand he needs to register the property. Board knows that all we've done is try to inform people that they need registered properties. If it was registered under that address at home, that's what we have. I wonder if there's a homestead exemption on it that's listed as residence. He's not getting our mail from us. Pretty good chance of that.
So Kelly has it registered since 7, so 6 years?
That's my understanding, right, Matt?
How many units is it?
Just one.
Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves.
I am.
Okay.
You can't say anything.
Want to do that?
How often do you come back into town to check on this property?
Just once a month when it's time to pick up rent.
I know you guys are discussing it, but,
Councilman Higgs,
yes.
please address the chair.
I just think he needs the opportunity to get his address updated, and if you guys can waive the fees for now, that would be suitable,
Is this your district?
somewhat, yes.
No.
174th Street District?
No, that's not
I'd like to make a motion that we pay one late fee of $500 and 6 of the $80 fees for a total of $980.
I'll second that motion.
It's been a motion and a second. The motion is that the late fees for 5 of the 6 years that you failed to register be waived, and that you register the unit at the regular rate for each of those 5 years, and that for the 6th year, 1 late fee be assessed, as well as the registration fee.
Okay, but I got a question. I know back in 2007 when I paid the one-time fee, it was $10. When did it go up?
3 years ago.
So it wasn't $80 4 years ago, right?
Pay the appropriate fees for those years.
It was approved in 2010, went into effect 2011.
So the 80s in 2011, prior to that, it was $10. You want to change your motion to that?
I'd like to rescind my motion and make,
780, isn't it?
and make a motion that the total fine be $780. $500 for the fee, the late fee, and then add them all up to the other figure.
780.
780.
Figuring $10 prior to 2011.
Glad you're good at putting out fires.
That's why I'm not an accountant.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Little.
Thank you. What do I pay this in?
After the meeting, if you want to hang around, the secretary will give you a copy of the board's order. You can take that to the basement of City Hall, to the inspections department, and register the unit.
All right, thank you.
Item W, we have several correspondents requesting rental registration hearings. Expeditiously scheduled rental registration hearings. You have a date, Mr. Smith?
2 weeks out or more?
2 weeks.
17th, October 17th?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. It'll be set for October 17th. Next, we have an order from the city to rescind a demolition order at 422 Highland. It's been prepared by our corporation counsel. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item Y, we have findings in order at 1930 West Park that's been prepared by corporation counsel. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item Z, we have a hearing regarding a dangerous animal.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I guess. Dangerous animal.
Hi. Animal control is requesting Bandy Girl. Running loose on August 24th off the property, which is not the first time I have fire citations to show. We've written them up before.
One time, and she was in our yard.
The dog didn't run.
Excuse me, sir, we're going to take turns, okay? So we're going to let code enforcement present their case.
Okay.
When code enforcement's finished presenting their case, we're going to let you respond, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
What kind of pitch?
It is, I,
Several other priors in that home regarding other dogs. for the dog.
such as, when my dog's up to par, okay, I just got out of the hospital, I just got my cast removed. I wasn't home when this happened. He let her out to go to the bathroom, and she never.
She ran off the property, yes.
She didn't ran, apparently, is what I had heard.
He going home, opened the gate.
Sir, this hearing is for you to address this board, not animal control, okay? Animal control is going to address us. When animal control is finished addressing us, you're going to have the opportunity to address the board, okay?
She's your dog. She does not bite.
What's your name? Jenny, sorry.
What kind of pitch?
She's a
Proceed,
whippet.
thank you.
What kind of dog did you call her? She's a whippet.
Ma'am, not yet. I'll let you know, okay?
On Saturday, August 24th, the victim, George Connor, was leaving his home to go visit a friend. When the dog was running loose, Annie Girl was running loose off of her property.
He was kicking her.
He recognized the dog, didn't think anything of it because she has ran loose before.
That's his
But the
story.
dog continued to go through
That's his
him,
story.
and when she jumped, he protected himself by placing his arm across.
I've talked to George.
Police were called, it was reported as a severe injury. He was hospitalized. This happened on a Saturday.
Because of
Our
his
office was
diabetes.
closed. On Monday, when we got in the office, they were notified that they needed to quarantine the dog first day.
And which we did do.
Ma'am,
I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask you one more time.
Keep
to
quiet.
Please not interrupt. And if you continue to interrupt, I'm going to ask that you leave and you're not going to be able to present your case, okay? Thank you.
At first, they refused to quarantine, so we had to threaten with a citation to quarantine. Then they did comply. They quarantined the dog at Ridge Animal Hospital in Lansing. I spoke to them. They continue to say they have dog licenses for the dog under as a whippet. Both veterinarians at Ridge Animal Hospital said this is a boxer terrier mix. It's not a whippet. Others have described the dog to be a brown pit mix, which boxer and pit does easily get confused. They quarantined the dog. I went to the hospital. This is the victim who gave me a statement. The pictures of the injuries are located on the back of the information that I gave you. He spent an entire week in the hospital for his injuries, and they were severe. My greatest concern is this gentleman, the victim, has seen the dog before, has been by the dog before, he knows his neighbors. So not only did the
He
dog
does
attack
not.
somebody off of property, it attacked somebody that it has seen before. It's not a stranger in the community. And I'm concerned that this dog will run loose again, as many prior times that it has, and attack somebody else.
No, it won't.
Hold on. I got a question for you now. Whoever owns the dog, it's a yes or no question. Does the dog have,
Everything is licensed under Catherine Brennick, but he stated it's his dog.
does the dog have its, or is the dog up to date
Oh,
on its
yes,
current
she's
shot?
up to par.
It's a yes or no question.
Yes, she's up to par.
At the time of the
I got a
incident,
witness.
no.
I'm sorry. At the time of the incident, naturally, I would have gone and done that too. So at the time of the incident, August 24th, the dog did not have its shots.
No, I thought the shots were due about a month later, but it wasn't. But I could show you paper where the dog had his shots previous, with no problem. I could show you that paper right here, I
He's
got.
always been up
Well,
to
in
par.
in 2012, you had a citation because the dog did not have its shots.
No,
Looking at it.
Here, I got the,
No, Benny, there was one other time when she didn't have the shots. And it's
Lansing
on-
Animal
on-
Hospital,
on
here's the
your
rabies
probation.
certification.
Ms. Kroll, do you have anything further?
You want this?
I don't want my dog to die.
No, we've had prior instances. This is the first dog that they've owned that's big. It's just a concern in the community.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kroll.
Bring up-
Mr. Brennick.
What does that mean? I didn't hear.
Excuse me, ma'am? Mr. Brennick?
Yes,
Okay.
Kathleen.
Wanted to make sure I had your name correct. Now is your opportunity to respond to the board.
Okay, I got a witness, statement from Animal Hospital here in Ridge Road that they took the dog out for a walk 3 times a day, didn't have no problems.
Well, he was
Completely
probably
stranger.
he was probably on a leash when you took him out for a walk at the
Well,
animal
yeah,
hospital.
they didn't even know the dog. And this is my witness. He was over there at the house quite a few times, and that dog never bothered him. Here, you want to look at this? I bring these to you.
Not yet.
My son.
And what happened, I was walking out, and the dog was in the yard, and saw 2 squirrels, and ran after the squirrel and chased the squirrels. I tried to chase them,
She knocked me down too.
and that's what happened.
That's how I got a broken arm, because she knocked me down too.
Do you have any further information that you'd like to relay to the board regarding this
And
matter?
I got a witness, another witness statement written here.
Can you bring him forward, please?
Who's that from?
Okay, you can step back, sir.
Yeah, you and somebody else, Carl. I'm a widow, okay, I have 2 chihuahuas also. I need a dog that barks to alarm me. To alarm me, yeah.
And I got pictures of the gate putting it up for them.
Well, show them. They set up there. Can I pick this up to you?
Give me that.
No, you don't know how to do things right.
I don't want to kill the dog. That's our companion. Yeah, smile and laugh at it.
Is she smiling and laughing?
Don't have to ask her, ask them.
Anything else?
That's the gate that I put up and everything for the dog. It was just a freak accident, that's all it was. And I feel sorry for it, but what are you gonna do? Things happen. That's our companion.
You can have this, and you can have this. That's it, you can step back.
I mean, that dog's our companion. I'm 74, I got cancer, she got a heart attack over this. All that stress and everything they had.
Anything else, Jen?
Yes, this is not the first incident. It might not have been just this dog. They've had prior dogs. It seems to be a pattern of dogs. They own their home, are aggressive, and they fight. Unfortunately, I didn't bring all the Rottweilers information with me at the time.
Well, that's your fault.
Don't bring in the past with our dog.
Sir, you're going to address the board, okay? The board.
The dog, yes, I spoke to Reach Animal, they were able to walk the dog, but they did say that the dog is dog aggressive, and they had to be cautious when walking it past other animals.
Oh, I don't have that Weiler no more.
Ma'am,
I'm addressing
we're not
you.
talking to you yet. I'd like to make a motion that we find the animal control's findings in order and the dog be euthanized.
What?
There's been a recommendation to affirm the
Is there anybody?
nature of the dog is a dangerous animal and that
It
the dog be
isn't.
euthanized.
She is not.
Is there any further discussion?
Yes, who goes above you because I'm going someplace else?
Mr. Smith, I concur with your recommendation.
Mr. Smith?
That would
Yeah,
be me.
I mean, somebody higher up than you guys.
Thank you very much.
That'd be Mr. Smith.
You're welcome.
He
Penny,
sits
what do we
at
do
the
now?
bar. He sits at the bar every day. Sir, just sits at the bar every single day.
I don't want to kill, that's our dog, that's our companion over there.
No, plus, I'm in bed at the hospital.
Jenny, what do you guys usually do when this happens? Call the police department now? Take
Yeah,
action?
to everyone is there, a pop pickup, yes.
I'm gonna address this with,
What, you gonna kill the dog?
We'll do that then.
All right.
Get a hold of the police department.
that's
whatever
a
we have
shame on you guys. And you know what,
much.
George, shame on you. You were kicking at her, slapping at her.
Yes, sir. We've made the order that the case that animal control has brought to us, that this dog is a dangerous animal, has validity.
Security
Okay,
come
sir.
through In case somebody breaks in there and rapes her,
We understand,
would
sir.
that be okay? Huh? Would that be okay? Somebody
I don't
breaks in and kills
Sir,
her,
okay.
kills the dog?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well,
Your matter is closed, sir.
Yeah, kill the dog, huh?
where do I go?
Don't you guys have a heart or anything?
Sir.
Go ahead, leave, buddy. I'm just fighting, I ain't got no damn teeth.
Would you please write your name?
No, ma'am, we're done.
Oh,
Going on to our
would you
next,
please write that?
you'll get something, we're going on to our next case.
Yeah, call the police, stop.
No,
Item
okay.
2A.
Staying around here.
We have correspondence from Mr. Gleason requesting permission to install a four-way stop at Waltham and Lyman.
Got that, Kelly?
She's never been to my house.
What happened?
He ran up that road, hopefully not after. Ma'am, you have to
Will you-
sit down. down or you can leave the building.
Okay. What do you want me to do? I wanted that doctor's
You
name.
can sit down or leave the building, leave the room. You have a choice.
I will sit.
Is
Make a
there a
motion.
recommendation to install the four-way stop sign?
Yes, I make that recommendation.
I concur.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2B, we have correspondence from Pilgrim Studios in California requesting permission to film a documentary for the Discovery Channel on 141st Street.
I would like to make a motion that we.
Recommendation.
A recommendation that we approve this, but I would like to get, I would like to.
Not going to be a permit. It's gonna be the law. We don't require film permits, so there's no.
I would like to make a recommendation that we let them do this, but they also must get a hold of the Hammond Fire Department, the Hammond Police Department, to get available Hammond police and fire people on the scene instead of hiring an outside contractor.
Let's go, Kathy.
I concur. Item 2C, we have an agreement regarding park improvements from Councilman Kilwinski.
No, I'm taking the dog to my house.
Let's go.
$72,670 of gaming money be transferred for park improvements at Pulaski Park. Is there a recommendation to approve the request?
Well, thank you for
Here's
nothing.
recommendation.
Thank you for nothing.
I concur.
Hey, I concur too.
Item 2D, we have correspondence from Councilman Emerson requesting gaming money be transferred to the Park Department for the installation of benches on the Monon Bike Trail. Is there a motion to recommendation to approve that transfer?
Yes, I'd like to make that motion.
I concur with your recommendation. Item 2E, we have correspondence from Councilman Higgs requesting ornamental lighting in several streets, as well as design to be conducted on several other streets. Is there a recommendation to
Bobby, if I can give you some clarity as to what I'm requesting.
Yes, sir.
The problem is that Robinson Engineering has been designing projects that's been on standstill since 1998 that are sitting on the shelf. I find it appalling and totally unbelievable that they would design a project, have it sit there from 1998, and not be completely designed. So when the projects get ready to go out for bid, they're not completed. So that puts my projects in my district at a standstill. The purpose of them being hired is to design the project, get it completed so that it's a go. We get casino money once a year. There are projects that I want done in my district and I designate them to be done, and then I go back 2 or 3 weeks later and they're still not designed. So something needs to be done and addressed in that respect. Now, Claude is almost ready. Kenwood was supposed to have been done this year, and it was at a standstill, over $1 million project. Come to find out 8 weeks later that it's not completely designed, and it's been in the works for about 6 or 7 years. So I don't know what Robinson is doing. I don't know the process. All I know is that as a councilman, I direct them on what projects I want done. Somebody's dropping the ball. So I want that to be addressed. 5600 block of Maywood, halfway done. I would like the ornamental lighting to be placed there for this year, and Claw Street to be completely designed and ready and bidded out, which I think is almost there. Bid it out so in 2014 we can have that a go as completely done. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we send it to engineering.
Is that your recommendation?
That's my recommendation, I'm sorry.
I concur. Thank you, Councilman Higgs. Item 2F, Attorney Murphy requests a formal withdrawal of his appearance for 5502 Alice. Is there a motion to confirm this correspondence, or a recommendation that we affirm it?
Yes, I'd like to make that recommendation.
I concur. Item 2G, we have the strangest correspondence. I'm just going to note that for the record. Item 2H, garage sale permits.
Make a motion that we approve all of them.
I concur. Item 6, matters from board members. As seeing that there is none, is there any new or old business?
May I approach,
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I am not a very good public speaker, so I've written a statement preparing my discussing my situation, and I've made copies, and I would ask you maybe. Thank you. Dear sirs and ma'ams, I'm here today at the request indirectly of Mr. Kelly, who claims to believe that I'm personally living in an illegal basement apartment at the address in question. I recently tried to represent myself in court, but failed miserably because I'm too upset and too emotionally invested. As I said, I'm not a professional speaker, so I've prepared this statement in hopes of gaining your understanding and attaining mutual respect. I must begin in late 2008 when my mother passed away. In late 2009, I first took responsibility for this property. There's been embezzlement and mismanagement within my family's estate, causing $10,000 in unpaid back taxes. In addition to substantial missing cash, the property was not adequately maintained, causing additional extraneous expenses. Although I have lived there and was responsible for the bills in 2010, I could not get the tax breaks I needed or get on a tax repayment program. So for 2 years, I paid over $6,000 in taxes while waiting for the judge to release the deed. In 2011, 2 years after my mother passed, I still had no deed. I started going to other attorneys for advice and got different advice from each one. Each time I went to probate court over my property trying to resolve the estate, I went to the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, the assessor's office, and the homestead division with all my documentation, everything except a deed. Consequently, nobody would talk or deal with me. Additionally, I've had to deal with the tax sales department of the Lake County because on 2 separate occasions, the second occasion 1 month before they finally released the deed in June 2013, they put my property on tax sale even though it was still in probate. Because of all these issues, I currently owe $19,000 in back taxes. Because I have not had the deed to this property, I've had to use my credit cards to finance the materials needed for repairs and other expenses related to this property. My credit is overextended. I cannot attain the equity loan I need to pay back my taxes and consolidate my debt because my debt to income is too high. It is very likely I will soon lose my home. I'm currently in financial ruin. While dealing with these issues, I also yearly must deal with code enforcement. As a law-abiding citizen and in the spirit of cooperation, I have been sure to yearly register my apartments and make myself available for inspection at this property every year since 2009. And I even started removing radiators from the basement at the request of Mr. Kearney, who made that request to me, I may add, in 2009 when I first met him and he first personally came to inspect the property. In February 2013, I called code enforcement to let them know I was living in Bloomington, Indiana, and I was available for inspection during March, which was spring break. I spoke personally to Ms. Dana Short, who had inspected my building, including the basement, for the past 3 years without incident. During that conversation, Ms. Short informed me that I was not scheduled to be inspected this year. As it turned out, I had to return to Hammond in March because a tenant of 2 years moved out without notice. At that time, I cleaned and rented the apartment in 1 week to the person who is the cause of these problems today. When I returned to Hammond in June of this year, I finally had the deed to my property. I decided to spend the summer working on the property. I maxed out my credit cards buying materials I needed for the long and short-term repairs and began working. Shortly after, an order to stop working was put on my door, and after speaking to Nicole at Enforcement, I purchased the permit, the background check,
the landlord's repair test or license test, temporary license to do the repairs, and stood before this board, or the regular board downstairs rather, for approval, trying to follow the process of law. During the last week of May, I returned to Hammond, and fortunately I had to evict a woman who left owing me money. She left the apartment damaged. While repairing the apartment in June, the new people in apartment 3 did not pay also due to issues with their SSI. During the months of June and July, these people denied me access to make repairs, wasted my time, caused me extreme financial duress. On one occasion, I had to call the police because the people in apartment 3 would not allow me to retrieve my tools. I was pawning my jewelry and borrowing money to maintain utilities for people who were not paying me. I did not even have enough money to upgrade the temporary contractor's license to a permanent one due to lack of funds. Additionally, in the first week of July, while I am doing the repairs on the property, Judge Tom Stefaniak drove up to my property with his son, sticks a sold at sale notice on my door, and takes a picture right in front of me, further delaying much needed repairs. At the end of July, the police were called by my neighbor in the rear at my request because the tenant in apartment 3 physically assaulted me during an attempt to collect rent. Mr. Kelly was called out by the Hammond police because the tenant in apartment 3 told the police I was currently living in the basement. I was in fact living upstairs in apartment 2. The tenant told them this caused me trouble. The uninhabitable and stickers placed on the doors are conversation pieces that forced me to explain to all why the basement is not for rent. After waiting a while without anyone coming to my basement on that particular day, I came outside to look for Mr. Kearney. Mr. Kearney was already in someone's apartment who was not involved in this incident, doing inspections with 5 policemen behind him for reasons that have never yet been explained to me. While trying to talk to Mr. Kearney, I tried to explain the situation, but the police were distracting me while I was trying to talk to him. Mr. Kearney wanted to inspect the property. I consented. I asked Mr. Kearney if we could start upstairs because I wanted to show him my apartment and the apartment of the person who was the real problem. Mr. Kearney insisted on going downstairs first. Again, in the spirit of cooperation, I agreed and followed Mr. Kearney downstairs to the utility room. The 5 police followed directly behind him. I asked Mr. Kearney to leave the policeman outside while he inspected so we could have a conversation. Mr. Kearney responded by saying that he felt threatened in my presence and needed the protection of all 5 police officers. I'd like to point out that I have not ever given anyone at Code Enforcement any reason to fear at any time ever, and that, in fact, had a good relationship with Ms. Short. This comment by Mr. Kearney was too much for me to handle after all I have been through with my family and this property, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different divisions of Lake County government, the financial problems trying to make the repairs, problems with my tenants, and now all of this. Excuse me. At that time, I advised Mr. Kearney that if he really felt that scared, then he should leave. I never refused to show him any part of this property. I never told him he had to leave. I only wanted a little respect, just as the same as I'm sure he wants. I felt very much like my dignity, my intelligence, my privacy being disrespected. Mr. Kearney decided to leave, but before leaving, he made it very clear to me in plain English that he was going to make me update everything in the building that isn't up to code. They would bring police, firemen, electricians, and inspectors to disrupt any sense of privacy I think I have, and that he was going to make me take down every wall in the basement so I couldn't have a laundry room, storage room, or office, which would further affect my financial situation. Since that time, I had put off the inspection, not because I didn't want anyone to see what was happening there, but because I started my last semester of school in August and graduate in December this year. My degree in kinesiology is medical, and it's difficult. Again, I'm under a lot of stress. In order to graduate, I have classes that contain laboratory requirements, which I must attend and pass with at least a C average. During this time, my best friend and tenant of 25 years, who is with me today, by the way, has been enduring multiple tragedies, which has affected us all as well. During my summer struggle, Poor Mr. Spencer's wife, Kathy, was diagnosed with cancer. Additionally, poor Mr. Spencer's family suffered the tragic loss of his 13-year-old grandson, Joshua Anthony Spencer. This boy was like a god-grandson to me personally. Because of our mutual hardships, Mr. Spencer and I have both financially and personally, and because of our long-term friendship, we entered into an agreement that would allow me to sublease their spare room from them until I finish school in December and get a job. All the stress I have been under has manifested itself both physically and mentally. Excuse me. Mentally, I'm having migraines, anxiety, anger issues as a result of these problems. Physically, I'm suffering arthritic conditions in my hands, hypertension, high blood pressure, and an inguinal hernia, which I aggravated as a result of working so hard on these renovations. I cannot convey the heaviness of the burden these issues have placed on my mind and heart. I regret the decisions that I made, which seemed right, have led me here today. I regret the opposition between Mr. Kearney and myself, which I'm in part responsible for. This opposition on my part was not because I felt like being tough or confrontational, but more like someone who's become self-destructive because they've given up. To Mr. Kearney, I apologize. I'd like to conclude by summarizing that I can account for my place of residence from January 1st of this year through September, living in Bloomington until late May, spending June and July in apartment 2, spending August in apartment 3, and living with the Spencers from September on. I would also like to add that when I previously stood in front of what I thought was this board, but it was a different board, I'm afraid, that my residence in apartment 2 and how the basement was used was disclosed at that time without any issues being created. Lastly, absolutely everything I have stated can be verified and proven both in written documentation and live sworn testimony. I can only ask that if this statement has left any unanswered questions, that you allow me the chance to do so now. And if you must take some vote regarding my property and or myself, that you review my evidence and vote your conscience. Sincerely, Michael Atchison. Since that time, Mr. Kearney did come and inspect, and true to his word, deemed one of the apartments that I have upstairs illegal to rent due to a firewall issue, which I have heard brought up in this court. I hear a lot of the same issues from the people that are here, like such as myself, where my family's owned this property for 30 years. When we bought it, it was apartments. We've had inspectors come. It was one time the historical district. When the issue of the basement came up with my mother, who passed away during that time, all these issues regarding zoning, permits, all that stuff was looked into. I feel that personally that although it's the buyer's responsibility and there are things as owners we definitely need to be responsible for, when a person goes and registers legitimately their apartments with this code enforcement and enters that contractual agreement by paying the registration fee, there has to be some responsibility for the city to make sure that they're accepting money for apartments that are legal also. I have to believe that has to be some shared responsibility. I know that too much has happened. I still don't know yet what all the demands will be, if I'll be fortunate enough to be allowed to make the repairs. But today, I would just ask you for time. I have a tenant who's living upstairs who's been given 10 days to vacate. I have a lease agreement requiring that I give this gentleman at least 30 days, in which if I evict him in 10, I could be sued. I would ask to give me 60 days so that I can have time to consult a contractor, get the information from the code enforcement, see what can be done about saving this apartment, and also giving this gentleman the respect that he deserves as an innocent victim. I just want to add that My friend is here today. He would also like this chance to speak once, if you allow it. Thank you.
Bobby, I don't know if it was on the agenda or not, but certainly he contacted me in regards to his property, and so that's why I made a point to be here. And if anything you can do is, I don't know what the steps are in terms of how they are addressing it, but I know he said they recently inspected the property again. He needs time to try to get a contractor in there to see what he needs to do to correct it, and he doesn't want to evict the tenant because he signed a lease agreement with the tenant. So you guys can help him out and give him some additional time, it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, my name is Anthony Spencer. I live at 5969 Park Place. Michael is my landlord. Like he said, we've had a lot of problems lately over at the building with tenants that don't pay their rent, things like that. And we've had a lot of tragedies. Like he said, my grandson was killed in a car accident, and other things have happened. But he's always been a good landlord. You know, he's trying to do things with the building, and he's, you know, it takes money and everything else, and we're trying. And then he's got tenants that come and leave, and you know, it's a hard thing. You know, he helps my family, we help each other. You know, that's all I want to say. He's a good guy. You know, he's trying the best that he can. You know, it's hard for everybody. But I've lived there for 25 years, me and my wife, and I grew up 4 children there. So, and we're still there. You know, but he's trying the best he can, you know, and when you get people who come in and say this and that and cause trouble and all that, you got to get rid of them. There's nothing else you can do. And that all costs money and everything else. I mean, that's really all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Mr. Spencer. Is there any?
Mr. Spencer, just one question. The day that I was there with all the police department, did I ask your permission to inspect your property?
You came up to my front, the day that with the police that was with you?
Correct.
You came up to my door and you came in, yes.
Did I ask you that I can inspect your property?
You know what, to tell you the truth, I can't remember. Maybe you did.
I went in without permission.
I mean, but if I opened the door and let you in, we never said nothing, I never said anything. You know, well, I'm sorry, if I don't remember, I'm not saying that you didn't. I was half asleep and I didn't remember.
Mr. Spencer, is there anything else you'd like to relay to the board?
Thank
you very much. Is there any other old business? Old business? All right. Item 10, public expression. The meeting is now open to members of the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address the board, now is your opportunity to do so.
First, I have a letter to the board requesting that the 5900 block of Tapper, where the Martin Luther King pool is located, that the sidewalk repairs be placed there. So you guys can have that.
Is your recommendation to refer that to the engineering department sidewalk program?
Recently went through.
Hold on.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
I concur, thank you.
Recently, we went throughout my district, and if we can extradite some of these projects and getting them demoed, 840 Becker's demo pictures were taken. This is the list that was given back to me. 838 Carroll Street, already on the demo list. I don't know why it hasn't been demoed. 1009 Carroll is in court. 908 Bauer, demo pictures are taken. I don't know why it hasn't been demoed. 911 is uninhabitable. The gentleman hasn't had water in 15 years. Why is this gentleman still being allowed to live there in these deplorable conditions is beyond me. 911 needs to be addressed immediately. There are weeds growing up. The neighbors are complaining. The residents are upset, and they're calling me 24/7. He hasn't had any water. He says he lives off well water. 913 Bauer, already on the demo list. Don't know why it hasn't been demoed. 1108 Highland, demo pictures were taken when me and the gentleman from code enforcement went through there. 1130 Highland, demo pictures were taken. 1221 Highland, already on the demo list, second building on lot. 1237 Highland, already on the demo list. Why it hasn't been demoed, I don't know. 1334 Highland, demo pictures were taken. 6131 Ray, it's an empty lot. I would assume that the city is gonna clean it up. 6122 Ray Street, investigators in progress, likely demo. 1315 Field Street, already on the demo list. You got broken windows, unsafe, just deplorable. You got new homes on the next block, and then you got this house, the siding's falling off, bats are flying out of it, and the neighbors are calling me continuously about this particular house. 1325 Field Street, demo pictures were taken. It needs to be demoed. So I'm requesting that if they can extradite these and get these taken care of. I know I got a note on here saying that it will be reviewed in January, but some of these are in such deplorable condition, I don't think we can allow them to just sit there until January. I'm afraid that the next thing, somebody may do something like set them on fire or something, and then the community's on fire. It's just...
I have a question.
Yes.
All these properties that you mentioned, do you know these people? Any of them that own the property?
No. I don't... The thing is that, you know, people that live in the homes, I have a relationship. I was born and raised here in Hammond. I have a relationship with all my constituents.
I was just...
But the ones that are on the demo, a lot of them are vacant, and they're just sitting there and been there for a number of years. And then we also have one in the 800 block of Ames, a little greenhouse that's been vacant for about 20 years. So, you know, I don't know what the problem is, but, you know, the mayor gave $1 million for demos.
Councilman Higgs, do you have that list of properties that you just relayed to us written down?
Sure.
Is there a recommendation to relay this list of properties to the Code Enforcement Department so that they may give Councilman Higgs an update as to the status of where these demolitions are?
That would be my recommendation.
I would concur with that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Councilman Higgs. Anybody else for public expression?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?